Now, so I'll go on to the topic, which is, what is your sacrifice? So God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Now, I'm speaking to the parents here. When you talk of your firstborn child, I'm sure you all know how special of a moment that was for you. Now, if someone was to walk through that door, Nicole, please. If someone was to walk through that door immediately after delivery and said to you, I'm a God sent. God sent me to walk in here and to ask you for a very special sacrifice, and that's the baby that you have just delivered. After carrying that baby for 9 long months, the pain, the struggles, now that's the love that God had for me and you. He gave his only begotten Son. Now that for me is too big of a sacrifice. I can't even imagine. I'm not even a parent yet. And to think of something that's so special, so dear to me, and someone saying, I want exactly that which is so dear to you, I don't know if I would be willing to cooperate. Now, John 12, verse 3-5 speaks of this woman, Mary, who comes in and she basically empties a year's worth of wages in pure nard, which was hard to find at the time. It was a very treasured type of perfume, very rich in smell, and usually only worn by kings and queens, and she wasn't that. Now, she poured that on Jesus' feet, and not only did she do that, she wiped his feet with her hair. That is the definition of a sacrifice in my eyes, because not only are you sacrificing your precious or your treasured gift, but you're also giving yourself as a human being to God, wiping his feet that walk on the ground with your hair. Now, if you look at me right now, the way God designed a human being, my hair is up here and my feet are down there. My feet walk the ground because the ground is pretty much full of anything and everything. People spit on the ground. For you to tell me to wipe your feet with my hair is an insult. But this woman did this for Jesus because she understood where she was coming from, what God had brought her through. And this is the only way that she will ever get as close to God as possible, because this is Jesus Christ. This is God's version of being here on earth to us. So this was her way of saying thank you. So when you sacrifice, no one really understands. No one has to understand what your sacrifice is all about. Because even if I come to church and I take out however amount of money, or I put out whatever sacrifice I want to put out, I'm not sacrificing to the church. I'm not sacrificing to the pastor. I'm sacrificing to God through the church. So no one has to understand what your sacrifice is. And everyone in here can testify about something which is so dear to them that they would see, that they would give to God as a sacrifice. It could be your time, it could be your money, it could be a gift, it could be something. But sacrifice is a topic which we all can relate to. We do it every day. You wake up in the morning, you sacrifice your time for money when you go to work. You sacrifice certain things that you can afford yourself for your children. You sacrifice a lot of things for other people. There's people who actually, you look at and you're like, this person is definitely not going to understand what I'm doing for them, but I'm going to do it regardless, and that's usually the children. Now, both acts would simply be regarded as crazy in modern terms. So the first act of sacrifice that I spoke about was God giving his only begotten Son to me and you for our salvation. And the second act was basically of the woman who gave that expensive perfume and wiped God's feet. Judas Iscariot looked at her, he said, this is crazy, it's insanity. That money could have been given to the people for other reasons, but he said that because he was a thief. He was a tax collector. And he knew some way he was going to benefit from this. So that's just the selfish nature, current selfish nature of human beings. To sacrifice is not something which is easy. It's not something which is you can just do. Something in you, the natural instinct of a human being would be, this is ridiculous, because you think of you. But this is not about you. It's not about what you have. It's about who you serve. And it's about the lives you will touch along the process. The mind is quick to kick in and fight the heart's desire to sacrifice. So every time every time you get to a moment of sacrifice, the mind quickly kicks in. If you pull up at a traffic light and then you see that guy standing by the side of the road and he has a sign saying, "I need help," I'm sure a lot of us have come across those, and the first thing that comes to mind is, he's going to use my money for drugs, or he's going to use my money to buy alcohol. You have already derailed the point at which you arrived at, which was the moment of sacrifice. You've already derailed your mind to thinking about what the person is going to do with the money, but not what you are about to accomplish. By sacrificing, you are pleasing God, not mankind, not anyone around you. So your mind is fighting your heart's desires. So what makes it very hard to sacrifice? Lack of loyalty is one. You don't sacrifice what you're not. You don't make a sacrifice to what you're not loyal to. Parents, if you are not loyal to your children, you wouldn't do half the things you do for them. And I want to speak a little bit on the relationship between sacrifice and loyalty. Without loyalty, there's no sacrifice. There's no two ways about it. Without loyalty, there's no sacrifice. If you do not believe in something or someone, there is no way that anyone or anything is going to convince you to give your lust to that person or to that thing. People make sacrifices in business. You stand there and you say, "This is ridiculous, this is crazy," because they believe in their business. You don't. You don't know how far they've come with that business model. Hence the reason why they're giving their last amount of money. And then you're thinking to yourself, this is madness. That's the very same situation that woman was in. When she did that, that for her was her way of honoring God, because she knew where she had come from. And she knew, had she given something that was less worthy than that expensive perfume, it would not feel like a thank you enough. Can you stand there right now and say you can thank God enough for how much He has done for you? Let's talk about just the things that you have right now. Just take a moment and just think about what you have right now. And how we complain. We take so much for granted. You're here right now and someone is lying in a hospital bed, not knowing if they're ever going to make it out of that hospital bed. Being told you have this, you have that, you have a few months to live. And you woke up this morning without any pain. You didn't even have to think about waking up. You woke up. You went into your nice bathroom. You ran the tap. Hot water came out. And you thought of taking a shower. You opened the shower curtain. You're looking at that expensive Dove soap. You know Dove is expensive. It's not a cheap soap. You're looking at that Dove soap. And then you're looking, which towel am I going to use today? I'll use that one. And then there's someone back there somewhere who to bathe is a luxury, because that water could be used to drink with. And then to think of trying to even get soap, acquire anything called soap is an absolute luxury to some. If you go to the rural areas, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you say you have soap, it's almost like you're saying you have a bar of gold. Now, growing up, when we went to the rural areas, I refused to bathe without soap. And I remember mom would, she would get all of us in there, because she used to always try to mix us in with the kids of rural areas. And you look at them and they just don't care. Like, for them, the simplest is enough. So we're standing there and we're about to bathe. And I put my toe in the bucket and the water is cold. So I'm looking at them, and they're just, they're taking it in their stride, bathing. So, because for them, they don't do this every day. So they were just bathing real quick, and then mom walks over with soap. They all reached out. I was upset because in my mind I was like, clearly you guys, you know this soap was for me. Your bodies can take this cold water by itself. Soap will just give you a little bit of warmth. So when you throw cold water, it just washes it off and you're good. So, and then mom said to me, I remember very well what her words were. She said, you have this every day. Just for once, sacrifice this good soap of yours. Share it with these boys here. You never know what God is going to do for you. Those were her words. After that, I bathed with no complaint. Didn't really think about it too much. And then, when we finished the washing up, bathing process, we got dressed. We were about to go to have dinner, to sit down and eat. And then one of the boys walks over with a car that he had made of wire and copper line. Yes, so he had made that thing, and that was so well made. It was a Beamer, BMW. You look at a Beamer, hey, that thing looked just like a Beamer, for real. He wheels it over to me, and he offers to me. He goes, do you want to play with it? I didn't understand it first, and I just took it, wheeled it around, and then I gave it back to him. He said, no, it's yours. Now, to him, he understood exactly what had happened from the bathroom up until the time he gave me that car. To me, it didn't make sense.